I am Etienne Tiffou, Professor Emeritus of the University of Montreal, and I was working on Burushaski, and so I think I am in good position to appreciate the work in this field of Allama-Nasir-Uddin-Hunzai. We had the pleasure to have him in Montreal, and I think when we want to study a foreign language very different from our language, the best person to study it is a native speaker. And Allama-Nasir-Uddin-Hunzai is a perfect native speaker, but also you need to have a theoretical knowledge of what is a language. And it was the case of Allama-Nasir-Uddin. And he made some outstanding work written sometimes in his own language, but also is an outstanding philologist. And I want to give an example we received from Professor Hermann Berger a certain number of proverbs, some which have been elicited by him on the field, and others written by Lorimer, and he's translated them with commentaries. And we worked on them with Allama-Nasir-Uddin. He gave us another number of proverbs, and he made an explanation perfect of the proverbs, and from time to time the writing of Lorimer was very difficult to decipher. And we say, Professor Morin and I, one word we could read, and all the proverbs went immediately from the mouth of Allama-Nasir-Uddin. And I think, interested by this kind of work, few time later, he published about 600 proverbs, and we have only, I think, 200. And we have 32 readers, and he published 180. It's an outstanding work, and I think Allama-Nasir-Uddin is not only a theoretical linguist, but also an anthropological linguist. I don't know if the word anthropological is correct, but you know what I mean. He has a knowledge of the language, not only of the structure, the abstract structure, but related to the people, the way of life of the speakers. Another point, when you are interested in a language, you have also to have a corpus. And the corpus of Burushaski is an oral corpus. And we have to be grateful to Allama-Nasir-Uddin to have written, to my knowledge, the first time, some works in Burushaski language. And I think the major, to my knowledge, work of Allama-Nasir-Uddin is Diwani-Nashiri, which are poems at the glory of Ismaili faith. And all people of Hunza and Yassin knows these poems, and they play with the rabab, which is a kind of music, kind of guitar, I think. And we have so a very rich person, because he has a theoretical knowledge of the language, possession of all the tradition and all the corpus, oral corpus of his civilization, and also he has a creative power. This creative power is mainly inspired not only by his Ismaili faith, but by a very deep and genuine humanism. Burushaski is a language with a negative construction. And it was not clear, according to the books of Lorimer, and it was clearer with Berger books, but the information Allama-Nasir-Uddin gave us to Professor Morin, to me, were fundamental to analyze and give a good presentation of what is ergativity in Burushaski. And we publish an article which would not appear without the help of Allama-Nasir-Uddin. And what I remember, there was a lesson of linguistic, but also a lesson of humanity, but we were surprised because, you know, we worked very hard and we published in the book 569 proverbs. That's not too bad. And only that was not very important, but only for the example, only 32 riddles. And can you imagine that 3 or 4 years later, Allama-Nasir-Uddin published 2 booklets. The first one on proverbs, and he gave 942 proverbs. It's discouraging. And for the riddle, compared to our poor 32 riddles, he published 256 riddles. This is a proof of the rich knowledge of Allama-Nasir-Uddin, and for this reason he's very precious, and this the work we done with him would have been not possible without his help.